Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Shine from the Inside newsletter, audio edition. I am Angie, an inner glow coach. I help high achieving and spiritual women transform from chasing love and approval to radiating confidence so they can finally feel happy, free, and loved for who they are. I'm also the author and speaker of Running in Slippers. Today I'm going to read volume 3 of the Shine from the Inside newsletter, and as always, I do not edit, so let's see how this goes. What do drugs and full moon circles have in common? They can both be emotional bypassing in disguise. For years, I convinced myself I was healing by manifesting, meditating, going to moon rituals. But what I was really doing was avoiding my pain and prettier packaging. My healing journey began in earnest when I was 40. Older versions of me would say it started in my late 20s when I found myself in the metaphysical section of a small bookstore in Chicago and picked up a copy of Ask and It Is Given. I had heard about manifesting, but I didn't know much about it. The energetic pull to the book was too strong to ignore, and I devoured the entire book within days. This was 2007 when spirituality was still relatively woo-woo, but it spoke to my soul, and it was the beginning of a well-intentioned yet misguided healing journey. I feel like something is wrong with me. Maybe following this path is how I can fix myself. Over the next year, I started practicing yoga. I had a highly anxious personality and chronically overachieved at work, so yoga was a safe space to slow down and breathe. I started out in an advanced class because it was the one my friend Shelley went to, and I was too scared to go to the beginner's class alone. It was a 90-minute hot vinyasa class that, despite regulating my breathing, felt like torture because it was so damn hot and almost every single pose was too hard and painful for me. But I went week after week because overachieving felt safer than slowing down, and hey, I was definitely not a quitter. I don't really like hot yoga, but I enjoy actually taking time to breathe since my anxiety usually sucks the wind out of me. If I do more of it, maybe then I will heal. In the summers, I would practice beach yoga on North Avenue Beach along Lake Michigan. Being aligned in nature was soothing to the point where it was addicting, and I went as much as possible, reaching for the feeling of peace and serenity that I felt in the sand of North Avenue Beach as I watched the sunrise over Lake Michigan in a much easier, way less sweaty yoga practice. I feel at peace in nature. This is my escape. Yet, despite my life looking successful on paper on the outside, I still felt empty and unfulfilled on the inside. So I doubled down on quote unquote fixing myself and escaping the painful feelings. I read countless self-help books. I learned about the healing properties of crystals. I learned how to manifest and release with the cycles of the moon. I tried other types of yoga classes that incorporated meditation and healing modalities. They all provided short-term feelings of the happiness and fulfillment I was craving, but nothing was long-lasting. And like a junkie, I would quickly move on to the next thing to get a hit of spiritual dopamine. At one point during a difficult time with a toxic relationship, I was desperate for fast healing. I had heard about a Buddhist temple in the city, so I immediately went to the next available service. There was a lot of sitting cross-legged on a cushion, which would cause my legs to fall asleep and be in excruciating pain. There was a lot of chanting that I knew nothing about, which caused a lot of shame. It felt like the service was never going to end. After this failed attempt at emotional pain relief finally ended, I walked back to my car that was parked on the street in front of a meat market, feeling defeated and broken. But I didn't know what to do about it, So I continued with the dysfunctional relationship because I was too afraid to be alone and went to yoga and talked to the moon to cope with the emotional distress. The more I tried to do and fix, the more my life felt like a hamster wheel. I was chasing happiness and fulfillment, but it always seemed elusive. What is wrong with me? This cycle of reaching for things outside of myself to make me feel better continued until I was 40 years old and hit a total emotional rock bottom 2 years after moving to Hawaii, which I go into candid detail in my book, Running in Slippers. At that point, I realized that what I had been doing wasn't working and I needed help. I decided to invest in myself and hire a coach. This is how I learned to do the inner work. I learned to question everything I do and why I do it, how to regulate my emotions, and over time, how to change my internal beliefs. I learned how to feel my seemingly negative feelings like shame, sadness, and anger, which my previous healing practices were helping me bypass. Drugs, alcohol, porn, and social media addicts are quick to be labeled as unhealthy and dysfunctional. But what about overworking, overexercising, and sound baths? Just to be clear, there's nothing inherently wrong with working out, and spiritual healing modalities. The issue is when they're expected to be the things outside of yourself that make you feel good, and you aren't doing them in conjunction with the inner work, like I did for an embarrassing amount of time. When you do the inner work, you don't need anything outside of you, and any practice outside of yourself simply enhances what you are already doing. Best of all, by doing the inner work and changing my inner beliefs, I learned that there was nothing wrong with me and I didn't need to fix anything or do more. We're all born with a light inside of us, and family systems and society slowly dim our light and we adjust to fit in. True healing is aligning with your true self and letting your light shine. Shining from the inside is about simply being instead of doing things to fix yourself or prove your worth. If you've been stuck in the loop of fixing, performing, and endlessly seeking the next spiritual tool to finally feel whole, you are not alone. This is exactly the work I guide my clients through inside the Shine from the Inside coaching program. Together, we gently unravel the patterns of people-pleasing, perfectionism, and self-abandonment so you can return to your truth, set healthy boundaries, and feel radiant in your skin again. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you are beneath the performance and escaping. This is your homework for the next week. Before you reach for something outside of yourself to feel better, pause and ask yourself, what emotion am I avoiding right now? Instead of bypassing the discomfort, sit with it, breathe through it, let it move through you. Your feelings aren't flaws, they're invitations to question what you do and why you do it. So I'm also proud to announce that I am having an end of summer glow up August 2025 promotion for my Shine from the Inside experience. You spent the summer keeping everyone else happy. What would it feel like to pour all that energy into you and go into 2026 on fire? For the month of August only, I'm offering $1,000 off my signature Shine from the Inside coaching experience, a high-touch journey for women who are ready to stop people-pleasing and start loving themselves unapologetically and become a magnet to the life they actually want. This offer is for the woman who knows deep down she's done abandoning herself to be loved. She wants to attract love and success from her truth, not her performance, and she's ready to prioritize her glow up from the inside out. Spots are limited, and this pricing disappears at midnight Hawaii time on August 31st, 2025. You can schedule your call by going to the website in the description, which is runninginslippers.com, and scheduling a call for me. And just to be clear, the goal of the discovery call is to help you. So we will spend an hour talking about whatever you're struggling with. I will do my best to help you as much as possible on that call. And then we will discuss next steps, because Shine for the Inside is not for everyone. So if it's not the program for you and you need additional help, I will help you get that help. I know other coaches, I have other resources. So the goal of the call is to help you. So I encourage everyone who's struggling, because again, I was there too. There is no shame in this. Please set up a call with me and let's get you the help you deserve, because you deserve to be happy, you deserve to feel free, and you deserve to be loved for who you are. So stay tuned. Next newsletter is going to be about how sometimes we use other people to be the thing on the outside that makes us feel better. So hope you have a good week. Bye.